Hello guys, welcome to Cartooning with Paul. Today we're going to do a more detailed one. Today I'm going to show you how to draw Zeus from Hercules. So come on, let's get started. Alright guys, today's video comes as a special request from Rose. Rose is looking to learn how to draw Zeus from Disney's Hercules. This one's a little more advanced, but we'll break it down and everything will be okay. So let's dive into this one. Alright, so in starting this drawing, I'm going to want to start with his head. And I want to draw it rather small here up on the page. Not too small, but I want to make sure that I give myself plenty of room on the page for that big hulking physique of his. Okay, so I've got my circle, and I'm going to draw him with his vertical axis down like that, and his horizontal, I'm going to draw like this. I want to make sure, because we're dealing with a lot of detail here, and a lot of foreign angles. I want to draw in the bridge of his nose, kind of like so, and give him, very lightly drawn, I want to draw in his brow. And now that I have that in, I know where I can draw in his eyes. I usually always draw in the eyes first, but sometimes a character is kind of complex, and I want to make sure that I'm going to draw them in the right spot. So we've got one eye like this, and another I'm going to want to draw in like this. They kind of come down to a diagonal point here. All right. And I never do this, but I'm going to do this now. I'm going to throw in that look right there, like that. Now his nose, we got the bridge here, right? His nose is a little crooked, just a little bit. So it's got this hump here. And then the nostrils point the nose down like that. And let's give him, because we've got that line in there already, let's give him those big bushy eyebrows of his. One like that, and one like this. It has to follow the shape of the eye, just like this. Okay. Because it's the side of his head, we're going to come in a little bit there. Give him a slight cheekbone, and then bring that in like that. And this side, I want to give him a little cheek there, and what I'm going to do is from here I'm going to put in his mustache. So I'm going to kind of follow that shape over here like this, and then kind of come down. Over on this side, like this, and his mouth, I'm going to give him a nice excited smile. Like that. And finish off that mustache shape like this. He's very toothy when he smiles. And because of the art style to the movie, instead of leaving that just one big white mass, this is one of those times where you do give him some tooth line. Not too many. You don't want to make this look a little odd. So we've got that in like that. I'm going to give him an open mouth. Like so. Give him some bottom teeth here, and a hint of a tongue. I'm just going to shade that in so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to give him a nice full lower lip, and now I'm confident to put in his beard. So the beard shape will come off of his head like this. A line like that. We're going to follow this line here like this. I'm going to draw in a line here like that. And now we will give a nice full beard shape like that. I'm going to draw in some beard lines like this. A beard shape like that. His ear will come right out here. It's going to be kind of in line with his eyes. Just like that. So now we have to worry about his hair shape. And his hair will come out with these big curls, but they're going to be cylindrical. All right, so I'm going to first start by drawing a circle shape here and a circle shape here to show the center of his head here. And those are going to curl, so I'm going to draw in a little curly cue here. Same thing with on this side. I'm going to give him another one here. And then I'm going to give him another one here. I'm going to push it a little like this. Now we're going to want to extend those back. And while we're extending them back, we want to make sure that we follow this line over here. This line is to extend like this. That line is obscured back there, right? But then this line here, we want to extend like this. Now, because we're now dealing with the side of the head, I'm not going to continue that because we're going to simplify the shape of his hair. But from here, this shows me where the back of his head is, because we have the back of his cranium, it goes back here like this. And he's got a very muscular neck. I'm going to stop there because I want to make sure I get the whole body in. But before I do that, let's just throw in some hair. So we want to make sure that we differ the varying sizes of these bumps, but we also want to give it a cool stylistic flow to it too. Okay, so we've got the head down, right? Let's figure out the body. Now Zeus is a god, right? So we give him superhero proportions. He is about 8.5 heads tall. So we got one head size here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the ground be right down here. He's rather large. We got to play that up. So the upper torso is going to be about 3 heads tall, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. I know his waist is going to go right about there. Now he's wearing a toga, so a lot of this is going to be hidden, but we want to make sure that we get them in there so that he's not too tall, too short. We want to make sure he's not too wide, too skinny. Everything will kind of look like it belongs once we're done. Okay, just below his beard, we have his collarbone, his clavicle, right? And then we have to give him his pectoral muscles, because he's a big, strong god. And we want to make sure we give him a nice big chest. And instead of drawing in his abdominals, they hint toward it with this curly kind of shape there. Underneath his pecs, we're going to give him a hint of some lateral muscle, and then from there we'll just kind of figure out the shape of his body here. And like I said, you want to make sure that you do give enough room for his actual anatomy. So what I would do when posing him is I would figure out his actual body underneath the toga. And actually, that's really, if I were to go on model, his leg would actually be more like this. Let's see. Let's really give him, yeah, just like that. So now that we've got that in, let's figure out where his arms are going to go. Okay, so we've got his shoulder area. Right, so his shoulder would go right about here. And his other shoulder is going to go right about here. And he is holding his trident of, well, it's not a trident, it's a thunderbolt staff, right? So I'm going to draw in his hand in a fist, like so, right? But now we're going to do something called foreshortening, where because his hand is here and his shoulder's here, obviously his arm has to come in here and it's going to be bent. So we're not going to see the entire arm. We're going to see a hint of the arm, like so. Yes, I am working off of a model sheet, so it kind of helps me figure out where this is going. But it's a good idea to get a hand on some muscle magazines, some anatomy magazines to show you how these arms work. Or find yourself somebody to pose in front of you, or pose in front of a mirror and take pictures and use those for reference. So I've got this hand here, and notice I used like a rectangular shape, and I'm breaking those shapes down from there. Okay, so I'm going to throw in that staff shape. And yes, I'm going to draw right through the drawing so that I make sure that when it enters here in the hand, it's going to exit here. I'm working off of a model sheet, but I want to change this pose just a little bit. In the model sheet, he's got his arm extended up this way. Let's have his other arm like this. Okay. So these aren't correct proportions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it in like this. And because we're drawing from Hercules, the muscles have these weird shapes to them. It's just so that it looks like it's coming from the same art book. So I'm just going to give a placeholder here because we're actually not going to see it. All right, so now let's draw in that toga shape. So the toga is going to come from here, and we're going to first have the excess part of his toga going to come right off of this area here, off of his shoulder. And if you follow in this zigzag pattern, I'm going to show you what we can do with this in a second here. All right. Okay. So because we have this excess piece of material here, it's actually folding in on itself. Just like that. It has some stripe pattern on it. Disney loves to make things a little more difficult on the animators, but it keeps the characters looking gorgeous. So we add in details on the costume so that it's not too overly simplified. And now the rest of the toga, which will start from around his laterals and will curl up like so. And then what it's going to do is it's going to drape off of his body. So we've got this line up here. Now we've got another that comes off like this. It actually dips in. And now this one dips in even further. And everything's going to come up to this area here. And now we have one more that's going to come right off of his calf muscle, just like this. And it dips in nicely and then comes right up like that. Okay, now let's give him some... Actually doesn't bow out like that. Okay, let's darken in this line. And now drape that in, and this like that. And now, of course, I drew everything in without drawing his feet, which is goofy because you see those, right? So let's just quickly, because I know how they work. Let's throw in foot shape like this, and now let's draw one from the side. So his heel. Now, a lot of people, when they're starting out in anatomy drawing, they'll get the foot wrong. They forget certain parts of the anatomy of the foot. It would drive my anatomy teacher insane. There is a heel to the foot, and it has to extend backward from the main part of the foot. And a lot of people forget that part when they're kind of figuring things out. So you want to make sure that heel goes back. Okay. Now that I have that in, let's see, just like so. I like how that looks. Let's, yep. Okay. That in there, and then I will have this like this. Okay. The other foot, we're going to have, and this takes a lot of practice. You always want to separate the big toe from the rest of them. All right, so now I've got 4 left to do here. I just like to break them down like so. And now once you're done, you can feel free to erase all of those underdrawings that you had thrown in. So now let's go back in and put in that staff of his. Okay, the staff, I mean, I would normally use a ruler. Okay. And now the top of his staff is a lightning bolt. Now we've got this really cool angle on this, so it's going to take some imagination at first. Let's see. What I do is I draw the initial side of it first. It has to get bigger as it goes upward. Okay, just like that. Now I'll worry about the fact that it's 3-dimensional. Just like that. Now that I've got that in, let's put in the rest of his hair. Okay, so we've got a nice big bushy part of hair here. And then what we're going to want to do is it's got to come out here. So I'll draw in a little bit here. I'll draw in a nice big piece just like that. And then a nice girthy part right there. He has some curly cues in here. Guys, if you like drawing with me, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified of my new videos. I have a Teespring account, the link is in the description, and if you'd like to draw with me on some other videos, they're right down below here for you. I want to thank you so much again for joining me, and until the next video, we'll see you later.